Hey everyone, Badger here with a review of Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed Valhalla. In this game, you take on the role of Eivor, a Viking raider, as he takes on the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms of England. Set in 873 AD, you get to experience how the Vikings went about their expansion across Europe. The game is open world, the same as previous Assassin's Creed titles, but this time with a heavy emphasis on raiding villages in order to collect loot and materials to level up the Viking home base. Fans of the series will think right away of Assassin's Creed 2's city building. And you'd be right, but this time it's more in depth. The leveling up of your home base isn't just cosmetic. For example, you build a blacksmith who upgrades your weapons, you build barracks in order for your soldiers to rest between raids. Raids are awesome, as they let you burn villages down to dust while searching around for loot. A majority of the raids are initiated while on your longboat while traveling between story missions. For example, if you see a village you want to raid, press Y and let the games begin. Other raids take place after infiltrating certain areas after completing story missions. A simple call out for your clan and they'll come out right away to keep the guards distracted while you search for loot. But that doesn't mean you can't land a few hits of your own. Graphics, you either love it or hate it seems. I'm playing on PC and I love the way the game looks. The lighting effects are absolutely stunning, ranging from cloudy murky skies to orangey sunny vistas and swamplands filled with knee-deep water. While I'll agree the game isn't truly next-gen due to the fact that Ubisoft seems to have used the same engine as in Origins and Odyssey, I will say they stepped it up with the attention to detail. While inside homes, the camera gets brought down low to really get a feel for the interiors, with fire pits and underground floors almost guaranteed. Running across fields through the highly detailed foliage is one of the most relaxing experiences. You can really tell they took inspiration from Breath of the Wild, with environment sound effects like footprints and the bustling of trees being at the forefront of the audio department, followed by light Viking-inspired ditties spread out. Exploration and how you approach missions is up to you. You can either choose to go in stealth or choose to abandon stealth and alert guards from the get-go. And from what I can tell, it really doesn't affect the outcome whatever you decide to go with. Clicking L3 will give you a quick scan of your surroundings, checking for guards and any loot in the area. I really like that you only have to scan once while in an area to see what's around you, instead of having to switch between Eagle Vision and regular vision. Some entrances to buildings will really test your patience, as the way in isn't always super obvious. You'll have to remember what skills you have at your disposal, like fire arrows for example, throwing incendiary pots, or looking for weak points in the structures to break. It's that small interaction with the environment in Valhalla that I really feel separates it from the rest and feeds my inner explorer. I feel like the interaction with the world is what Breath of the Wild had over The Witcher, so I'm glad, while not to the same extent as Breath of the Wild, they chose to do that here with Valhalla.
Must be blocked from the other side. Clever. Let's see what secrets you keep, Tona.
Of course, boat travel is a big deal in Valhalla, at least in the beginning. I'll explain that later. The boat water physics felt weaker to me than in Odyssey, but they get the job done. The reason I said boat travel was important in the beginning is because once you unlock fast travel locations via the tower synchronization, I found I was using those instead, as it's much quicker and you could still explore on your way to story missions. So, if you were ever into Vikings or even Norse mythology, you're gonna enjoy the story here in Valhalla. I'll make this quick and I'll only mention what happens in the tutorial. You play as young Eivor, who witnesses his parents get killed by a rogue Viking warlord. Eivor escapes with his brother Sigurd. 18 years later, they seek revenge on the warlord, but they fail. Upon doing so, Eivor comes across his father's axe and has a vision of his future. Confused by the vision, which implies that he's betrayed by his brother Sigurd, Eivor continues his revenge plot at the disapproval of the king who rather make peace than be slaughtered. Will Eivor take his revenge? What was the vision about? You'll have to play to find out. Lots of twists and turns to the plot keep you invested in what's happening, and you'll meet allies along the way who respect you and require your help in exchange for loot and growth, of course. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a video game explorer's dream. The loot you find, like materials for building up your city, is rewarding. There's also loot like Ignite, I don't know if I said that right, silver in order to upgrade your weapons, which can be done to a certain extent in the menus without having to go visit a blacksmith for more upgrades. And of course there are sockets in armor to place runes into for further customization. There's skill trees to build as well. Use points you gain by leveling up to build those skill trees for more health, more stealth damage, and more range attack damage, for example. In addition to skills and weapon upgrades, you'll have abilities to unlock as well. Combat has changed slightly as well, taking on the form of a Demon Souls game at times, especially during bosses. But nothing to the extent of those games' difficulty. The stamina bar is the most obvious addition. Heavy attacks use more stamina, and light attacks use less. Obvious stuff here. There's a variety of weapons to use, both single-handed and dual-handed, which gave me a very Neo feel, especially with my favorite weapon being the ball and chain type weapon, which is hard to use but super strong when it lands. The stamina bar is nothing to worry about as long as you remember to dodge your opponent's strikes and don't rely too heavily on shielding. Along with dodging, they implemented this rewarding parry system. Press L1 at just the right moment of attack to parry your opponent, which leads to a takedown move, which looks absolutely badass. All in all, the combat will feel clunky at the start, but in time you'll get used to it. It will feel fluid and responsive. If all else fails, shoot them with arrows. Assassin's Creed Valhalla lays out everything for you to do right on the map. World events ripped straight out of GTA and Red Dead Strangers missions are blue icons on the map. These are almost always fun side stories which provide experience and items. The yellow dots are treasures which are up to you to find. They won't always be right there in plain sight. And of course the viewpoints in the shape of ravens for synchronization. As a package, I totally see the vision Ubisoft had with Valhalla, and I'm right on board with it all. They took aspects of all their games like platforming and building and mashed it up with aspects of successful games of today like GTA, Witcher, and Breath of the Wild to create a fresh experience that in my opinion looks phenomenal, and people might argue with me there. But I'm having fun with Valhalla, I'm taking my time with it, exploring every nook and cranny. I hope Ubisoft is working on a new game engine to please all the haters and surprise us again with the next installment. That's it for me today, guys. As always, drop a comment and make sure to subscribe. I love hearing from you guys. See you on the next one.